Okay, guys. So as you can see, question number 1. Okay, so what we are doing is I'm just running through your task number 1. There are 3 tasks in the assessment.
Okay.
Next week, the last week, so I started discussing these questions with you one by one. So task number 1 is knowledge questions. As you can see on your screen, task number 1 is about your question number 1. So explain the features required for network operating system. Write your answer in 100, 150 words. This means only few sentences. So explain the features required for network operating system. So network operating system is used, as you can see, already have seen it,
Yep.
Microsoft Windows Server 2019. It helps you to implement the user, authentic user, accessing the information. The information could
Yep.
be your network resources, your printing resources, your data resources, access to different machines, and storage services remotely and on the side both. So this is a typical feature or functions of a operating system. Now, what are different functions, the features of operating system? The features of operating systems are different services you run on it, uh, which include Active Directory Domain System, which include DNS, which include the DHCP. So what are these? We will see in later questions. This was answer to part A. Quickly, part B, what are the 2 latest server application compatibility issues and their resolution procedures? So 2 latest server application compatibility issues. Now look, the important thing about the systems, operating system, they behave differently when they talk to each other. Windows 7 is server when speaking with Windows 7, it behaves differently. When it speaks with Windows 10, the operating system on the computers, they can have issues. Uh, the details, if you can Google it, you can find it out. So this is just, I want to just give you some introduction. That was question number 1. Question number 2, summarize the following network services configurations. What is a DNS? You just need to give a definition, 50 to 100 words. What is a DNS? DNS stands for Domain Name Systems. It's a service which helps you to resolve the IP address and give it a human intelligible, human understandable word string of codes. For example, www.google.com. Google.com, the IP address of google.com, if you Google it, you will find there is an IP address of the Google. There may be range of IP addresses. So IP address is the ultimate address of any machine on the network, on the internet, on the internet. But humans do not understand it and cannot remember. So we have convention for each IP address. So each IP address have its human understandable name. We call it DNS. And the DNS server helps to translate. Now, what happens is once we request to go to a website, we go to a domain resolver. There are, I think, a dozen of domain resolvers. Whenever you request to go to a website, the request goes to a resolver, DNS server. That DNS server gives the IP address, and this IP address is used to go to that particular website or online services. So the DNS, domain name system, is an overall, it's an architecture, it's the ultimate table where you can get the IP versus WW translations. DHCP, what is DHCP? Assume that we have 150 computers on our local network of in our college. The one way to assign IP address is that we say this computer 1 has this IP address, this computer 2 has this IP address. But it will not work if we have 150 computers and each person is keep on moving computers from one place to other place, and some people are logged in using Wi-Fi. This is extremely challenging to assign fixed IP addresses to each computer provided we have infinite number of IP addresses, we can still do that, but we do not have infinite. Normally we buy in a lot of 10, 20, 100,000 IP addresses. So, and we have a limited IP addresses. So what we do is we only let people assign, we give IP address to only people who are actively using, or who the computers who are on. So dynamically we assign IP address to computers. The server which do this, uh, we call it DHCP server, and the protocol which help us, this set of standard procedures which help us to do this, we call it DHCP server. FTP, when we transfer files from one computer machine to other computer machine, we need to have a set of protocol to help us to transfer. File transfer protocol is that protocol. Mail, when we are sending emails, electronic mail, we use a protocol which is STTP, or we use POP emails. So these are two popular format of sending emails. Network time protocol, this protocol it's basically synchronize the timestamp to the network. We have one atomic clock and all the networks synchronized to that atomic clock, which has a precision of billions of point seconds. So atomic clock. So network time protocol is synchronize the network time. Why we need that synchronization? The reason is most of the network, they have to log information, and if the standardized time is different, the logging time has a differences, then we cannot actually differentiate who was first and who was the last. We do use NTP to synchronize. It's a protocol when computer talk to each other, when server talk to each other, and set their times. Proxy server, when we are connecting with the outside world, normally we have 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 20 IP addresses assigned to speak with the outside world, and we keep the outside world away from all other people through a proxy gateway. The proxy gateway is the first point of our link with the internet. So this proxy server helps us to not only connect to the internet, but also it safeguards, it collates, it keeps the inventory, it keeps a cache, it protects us as well if we build a firewall in the proxy gateway as well. So it saves IP addresses. It increase the chances of security, less attacks. So proxy server is the server which helps us to connect to the internet. So this is the main use. Server block messages, this is a file saving mechanism used in Windows Server. This is what is web. It's a IIS7 is the current web protocol used in Windows Server. In one of your class activity, practical assessment activities in task 3, and in the classroom training activity videos, I will share, or I have already shared a video which is based on which help us to configure the Internet Information System 7, Protocol 7, IIS 7. This is a typical website hosting services platform within the Windows Server framework. So that was question number 2, quick run through. Question number 3, what is a start, stop, restart? Start on boot. In server language, when a computer starts, that doesn't mean the server starts. A start in server languages when you start your services, when you start running your services, when you start running your server. So if you shut down your server, that is the point when the server stops offering services. So the start is the server start, the stop is the server stop. Restart is when you restart the services on the server. And similarly, start on the boot is when you actually boot up your system immediately and you tell the boot to start your configuration services at the same time. If you Google it, you will find more information as well. Question number 4, what are the 5 essential features of network services security? Write your answer. If you Google it, you will find plenty of answers for this essential features of network security. The one is the password length and the combination of different alphabets with the special keys, and then so on and so forth. B, what are the steps involved in configuring server firewall in Windows Server 2012? 2012, 2016, 19, they are similar. There is a video available in, if probably I haven't shared video, but next coming days I will share with you. Probably I will share with you tomorrow, next week, whenever come. So there you can actually go through the steps. So you can just list down watching that video. So this will answer the question number 4. Question 5, what are the 2 network troubleshooting tools and techniques? The tools network troubleshooting is Wireshark or packet sniffer or something else. Write your, so I already given you answer. B, what are the 5 network diagnostic utilities? Network diagnostic utilities are, if you Google it, you find plenty of names. So I try to focus on things which are obvious, which are not obvious. So some things are obvious. So I briefly explain the importance of the following installation media, CD, DVD. I think you can easily answer this question. Uh, Briefly explain boot procedure and diagnostic boot failures related to network server. I think you can Google it. It's very simple and straightforward. Briefly explain the operating system rescue environment related to network server. If you Google it, you will also easily get it. So there is no explanation actually. These are steps. So there's no point wasting time over there. Question number 7. Briefly explain the importance of operating system. Operating system help and support utilities in network server environment. So importance of operating system, help and support utilities. No one knows all the things. We need help. Sometimes we need to revise. Sometimes we need to get access. That is why we need help. That is why we need support services on the network. Briefly explain 2 performance monitoring tools. Part B, or you can just Google it, monitoring tools. There are tons of monitoring answer, very simple answer if you Google it. So 2 compatibility issues we already talked about in question 1. List and explain 3 high available options of server. Just Google it. It's simple. Briefly explain file and print management. When we run through the file and print management services, a video is will be shared or already shared with you. You will get the answer from that video easily. Question number 8, explain user authentication and directory services for the network server. If you have been through the Active Directory domain system, you can answer this question easily. Explain B part. Explain the steps you follow to implement backup and restore function to the network server. This is a video which I have shared with you, so this will answer easily. In your own word, explain error and event login and reporting. Every operating system record event and make logs of any activity happening on the network. So that helps you to log and track who actually start and at what time we start experiencing some issue. D, explain the file system and disk partitioning scheme. I think that's very straightforward. If you're an IT guy, you know that the disk partitioning is important. It's a physically, if sometimes we do not have physically available disk, so we logically make 2 components independent, which help us to organize our data efficiently. Let's go to question number 9. Documentation skills required for networks. We should understand Visio or Draw IO, or we can understand the different block representation of network elements. This is the one thing. 3 things. Task management. This is very important that we understand how we can prioritize, how we can schedule, how can we communicate with people. So B and C pretty much depend on it. Some tasks are, you must complete them before, just like I explained you must complete your activity 1 and 2 before you start doing your activity 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is scheduling. So we can have scheduling utilities like we can have a ticketing system, or we can use project management tool to schedule. So that's what they're asking, provide the tools. Question number 10, what is the importance of consultation? Of course, it's a good idea to just ask friends and colleagues and ask them what what is their opinion. So you can answer the question number A. B, question number 10B, what is the importance of work health and safety? Remember, I'm giving you breaks in every hour or 1.5 hours for 10 minutes walk. Work health and safety, this is important. Why this is important? Because we work prolong. If we want to prolong our body to keep on working for many years to come, we need to give it a rest, and we need to properly manage our body's stresses, and we have to give it a rest. Work health and safety is the top priority. If we see that something is putting you in pressure and is uneasing for you, posture, sitting place, or lights, or coolness, then you cannot perform, your body cannot perform at your utmost optimal. So that is why this is very important that we understand work health and safety. For example, lifting and moving item is one of heavy items is one of the work health and safety concerns. Fire is one, another, tripping over is another. Okay, let's go to question number 11. I know I'm running very quick. Uh, just listen it, because mostly these are already covered. Question number 11,
Yeah.
A, what are the different factors uh, to consider while securing approval for an ICT project? This is very important. So when you secure approval, you must communicate your full plan with the time schedule, with the resources, and the reason of doing this thing, and reasons and repercussion if you don't do it. So these are what important. So this can answer the question number 11, part A. Part B, what are the factors to consider while designing client report? This is very important that we understand the requirements of the client, the format, the template, the time to complete, the login details, the depth of the problem and explanation. So this will answer the part B of question number 11. Question number 12, answer the following questions. A, what are the factors to consider while preparing the documentation for server configuration and operational changes? This is very important to understand how the change will impact the organization. So if you discuss that point, this will answer to question number A. Part B, what are the benefits of cleanup and restoration of an ICT work site as per client satisfaction? Loose cables, hanging wires, um, equipment sitting here and there, they are hazards. This is very important that we keep the walkway clean and passage open, remove all the hazards. So this is the reason. Question number 12. Okay, let's jump to question number 13. A, what are the steps included in validating changes for a system? The validation process ensure that we actually understand things very well, and once it is done, executed, we cross check it. So we have a validation list. For example, validation is important, and it's the last step most of the time in confirming that the system is up and running. So we validate it. Okay, we check it. 1, 2, 3, tick, all good. So this was pretty much the cover in part A. Part B, explain the importance of server testing. If we do something and we do not test it, how we ensure that the system is working or not? How we ensure it is working as per the requirements, as per the satisfaction? So this is very important to run some tests. Some tests are statics, Static tests, some are dynamic. Static is that we see some actions, we see some status signals, and then we just say, okay, this is good. For example, light is on or off. Some testing is dynamic when the system actually start running and we don't know how it behaves. So we put a log on running on dynamic tests. So explain the importance of server testing. This is, I think I explained the server testing. Question 14, how to test the network server return error code 1603. Just Google it. You will know what is the problem. Very interesting. Question number 15, explain the process of error reporting in Microsoft Windows Server. Write your error, write your answer. Error reporting is very important. Whenever we have an error, Windows log actually show the error. If you Google it, you'll find some more information. Question 16, what are the 7 factors to consider while analyzing and documenting the data migration requirements? The very important thing is the integrity of the data, the availability, the reliability, when is the downtime starts, when is the uptime starts, the backup, and these kind of information. Question number 16 done. Question number 17, explain the following terms. Business problem, any activity, any issue which is stopping the business to achieve its goals is a business problem. It is as tiny as switching on and off. Opportunities, when we see that there are something which we can make use of to improve the productivity, or something which will help the organization, we call them opportunities. Scope of the work is the outline of activities we can perform, or scope of a project is what is actually required, what is the single liner statement. Budget is the amount we set aside, as you already know. So question number 18, what is meant by prototype design? When we actually try to see if the design we have a thought, is it working or not, we try to have a prototype. It's a limited functionality or full functionality, limited implementation type. Part B, what are the factors to consider for network server installation? Checklist for the quality assurance. Quality assurance is very important. The quality ensure us that the work we deliver, the functionality server works, they are as per the requirements. The quality is ensuring the operation as per the required set of KPIs or required set of standards. So that's why we check the quality. Quality is persistently working of something or on certain standards. For example, you have a server which check its time and network using NTP, network time management protocol, in 1 second. So when you check, and standard says that you shall check time within 3 seconds, shall synchronize server time within 3 seconds. So if your network having 10 different operating systems, 10 different servers, they complete this task within 3 seconds, most of the time, all the time, this is a good quality. So you're consistently producing standard output is explain you how good is your quality. Question number 19, what is meant by patching? Whenever we have network problems, we always add some software which prevent that bug or error happening again. We do not completely reinstall things, but we install, update certain files. We call it patching. Explain the different options available in configuration of automatic update of Windows. We can set up a timer, or we can include a automatic update, or we can run a monthly kind of. This is how you can explain this question. Question 20, answer the following question. Explain network services in own words. Now, I think we should be knowing that. What are the network services? File management, print management, data storage, login, password change, policy, security, network, remote access, all these things are network services. List any 5 network services. I think I already answered. That's it, guys. So that was your question number 1. So what I do is I stop the video, pause the recording.